in India. What was the point of your discussion, and did you ask India to directly engage with Taliban and go ahead with that? And what assurance did you got?
The topic of discussions, as you may imagine, it was around peace, in what is going on in the negotiations and what different countries can do. In India as an important country and important player which has helped Afghanistan throughout many years, has a lot at stake in a peaceful Afghanistan. And also the continuation of the war has its adverse impact. I didn't ask directly for engagement with the Taliban, but at the same time I encouraged engagement in the peace process as a whole in general. There are different countries which are playing different roles there, and India's role will also be appreciated.
So do you want India to engage with Taliban?
It depends on Indian government decision. It's not my job to draw a line there, but as a whole, India is supportive of the peace process, which is important.
Dr. Abdullah, what are the key takeaways you think from this visit?
Because of COVID-19, there was a period that these interactions, high-level interactions, had not taken place between India and Afghanistan. And also, since it is happening at the time that the negotiations has started, that had given it another ingredient. And my takeaway from discussions that I had with the leaders here, including Prime Minister Narendra Modi, which is supportive of Afghanistan and supported Afghanistan throughout, is that they say here, Indian position, Afghan-led, Afghan-owned negotiations, a settlement, inclusive settlement, which is acceptable for the people of Afghanistan, unified Afghanistan at peace within and without, which does not harbor terrorist groups. These are very much in democratic Afghanistan. These are very much in the line of thinking of majority of our people.
Dr. Abdullah, you said India can play a lead role in this peace talks. Do you also expect a military role for India in future when US leaves or sometime? Did you ask for the military help there, the boots on the ground?
No, absolutely not. I didn't raise that idea. The point is that we hope that Afghanistan will be able to stand on its own feet. And as you know, that the US troops, main part of it, they have withdrawn from Afghanistan. So are the NATO. There are still they are present there, but this will not be forever. It's important that the people of Afghanistan find a way to live in peace with one another, and then find an arrangement for security of the country, and then other countries can help consolidate peace and stability in their own ways under those circumstances that arise.
Dr. Abdullah, you said that you are trying to find a solution for the peace talks, for the peace. But there is also constant fear in New Delhi here that Pakistan backed some militant groups who have direct influence on Taliban may hijack this process.
The point is that when we say peace, stability, we call the whole context of it and consider the whole context of it. It will not mean peace if we have an agreement only with the Taliban, and then all the other terrorist groups, including Al-Qaeda, ISIS, under different names from the region, continue freelancing in Afghanistan. That does not mean peace. And that's the type of settlement that the people of Afghanistan are expecting, that no terrorist group working or using Afghan soil against any other country.
But sir, there is a lot of apprehension here that Afghan soil may be used by some terror groups based from Pakistan. Did India raise this with you?
The point is that, as I mentioned, on the common general context of end state in Afghanistan, which is peaceful Afghanistan, democratic Afghanistan, not harboring terrorists, that addresses the concerns of lots of countries of the region.
So you also said, I read one of your speeches, and you said that there will be consequences if US leaves early. What kind of consequences you are looking at, and what do you mean when you say that?
Perhaps if the before establishment of peace or progress in the negotiations, if a premature withdrawal takes place, there is no doubt that it will leave some vacuum behind, and that will have some impact on the security situation. But that will not mean one side prevailing over the other. That will not happen, and hopefully both sides, the side that I'm representing as the chair of the council, and the Taliban, we have realized that there is no solution through war.
Sir, India is doing a lot of developmental work, as you also mentioned, in Afghanistan. But we have seen a problem of access, connectivity, because SARC formula is not working and India has a problem with Pakistan. What is your take on that? Do you think SARC should revive, and do you think both the countries should resolve their issues now?
The more connected the region is, through whatever ways and means, the more beneficiary we will be as a country which has happened in the crossroad between South Asia and Central Asia. It's not for us to decide for any other country, but that's the accepted fact, that through a more connected region, all countries of the region will benefit.
Sir, India is consistently saying that peace process should be Afghan-led, Afghan-owned.
Yes.
Do you also agree with it, and what ways you are working on that? Because there is always a fear of foreign elements.
There will be certain impact of foreign elements in it, but eventually the solution that we get to has to be Afghan-led and Afghan-owned, through Afghan-led and Afghan-owned negotiations. And the influence of the foreign countries will be needed, will be expected, will be anticipated, and that principle which will help a peaceful, inclusive, peaceful settlement which is acceptable for all the Afghans.
So I'm coming to my last questions. We are seeing a very, very violent cycle of attacks in Afghanistan from February, ever since the talks have taken.
Sure.
So how do you look at the scenario? Because does it give you a hope that things may settle down, or do you think that Taliban may take advantage of the situation?
If the calculation or the calculus is based on the fact that we continue the talks and also we try to take advantage on the ground militarily, this might satisfy some temporary demands or expectations or desires, but it will not lead to a solution. A solution is in firm belief in commitment towards a peaceful settlement. Temporarily, provisionally, advantages could be taken out of the situation, but both sides' will and determination will be tested throughout the negotiations, through their, not just their words, but through their deeds. The Islamic Republic of Afghanistan has been ready right from the beginning. Day one, the negotiating team was instructed that the ceasefire or reduction in violence should be top in their agenda. That has been our position throughout. We are not there yet, but more than anything else, the people of Afghanistan expect us to deliver on that. It cannot be delivered by one side, but then the people of Afghanistan and the rest of the international community will judge our actions there. So hopefully both sides pass the test positively.
My last question to you, sir, from the main topic. How do you see regional unrest between India and China and the third country? How do you watch this?
Without passing a judgment, as a country which has suffered because of the internal situation, and also tensions between different countries also has impacted us. Uh, we think that we believe that any issue raising from time to time needs to be resolved through the will of relevant sides amicably. That's good. That's a very general statement. But nevertheless, tensions between different countries has its own adverse impact on our situation as well. That's also a fact of life.
Thank you, Dr. Abdullah. Thank you for talking to
You're
us.
welcome.
Just a minute.
Just 1 minute, give me some more shots.
Shots with me without mic.
Microphone निकालो.
So, how's your health? You're feeling? COVID is. Afghanistan is doing very well. I mean,
Doing well, and I don't know why.
that's
Also here, when you look at the situation, when you look at the size of the country, that's important. That's very important. We have been lucky, and also in a way, though the numbers of population and the number of Italians.
maybe I think Afghans are having good immunity,
No,
eating good food.
I challenge, no, good food, no. The point is that personally, as a former doctor, I'm hit hard.
That's very
You are
nice.
not being hit hard.